as I was headed in that same route.
He wouldn't happen to be nicknamed the Bathhouse Burglar Bandit, would he? The
No,
Bathhouse
no,
Bandit?
Paul, I don't,
down in my seat.
I don't typically associate with that sort of person. Tell me, what would the giants want with the little people here? It's so strange.
Well, we had this obelisk that actually was the whole reason why Nightstone was built here. And you can see, he points over to this hole in the ground that has a bunch of corpses in it.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, there's a bunch of corpses. As he says, "Whoa, where are all these corpses from?" Oh,
yes, no, I was told to take a look at this obelisk. It was quite interesting. I understand that.
Well, a couple of giants ripped it right out, and now there's a bunch of corpses in this hole. Who are these people?
They came to steal a stone and murdered these people?
I don't think they murdered these people. Who are these people? He kind of looks around. Who are these people? Morak says this.
Things happen, Morak. Things happen.
Things happened while you were out of town.
Wow, this is kind of taking.
Well met. I go and shake Nix's hand.
Yeah,
I'm Frantisek.
Right next to him. Yeah, I'm all up into this conversation.
Steady, man.
Breathing into these guys' faces.
That pit is filled with humans and orcs.
Yeah, there's a bunch of goblins, and Morak says, "Please," he tells the guards, please take care of these bodies in a respectable way." And then he kind of looks over towards you, Nix, and he says, "I think we're going to need to talk. Your companions and myself, we're going to need to talk about this."
We've been talking all night, friend. Be more specific.
These corpses, how did they get in there?
You're welcome.
You're welcome. I kind of scramble down into the hole, and I'm performing last rites on all the bodies.
All right, sure.
You
can see that
all of their priest, another paladin, have we?
All of their pockets are like inside out and whatnot, slash marks. Yeah.
Some bodies split in half.
And as
goblins are missing the body parts.
Yeah, the goblins are being laid out. All of the snakes are being, I'm calling them snakes because that's what they were. There's 7 snakes.
Right.
And as they're all laid out, Morak says, "I remember her. That was Kella. What happened to Kella?" And she looks over towards...
She died in combat, sir. She died in combat. That's
Obviously, I can see by the way her whole neck and chest area is opened up 3 feet wide. And she looks over towards you, Gobby. She looks over at Gobbly. So, please, continue on, my lady, about the story that you were telling.
Rigby, please tell them what happened, Rigby, please.
Well, let's just say the fight to retake Nightstone was a very desperate one.
Retake Nightstone? I don't see giants in this hole. I see goblins, and I see these gentlemen. Oh, of course, they're all dressed to impress in their black, shiny leather armor and stuff. There's some explaining to do here, so please continue on.
Draven, who has not had as much to drink as the rest of them, I'll actually step up and say, the truth is they were actually a set of brigands who thought to take advantage of your mysterious disappearance and wanted to take over your town. But
and Kella was in on this? One of my patrons at the Nightstone Inn?
Yes, she was a spy.
They were here to try to take over the town, and when we said we wanted to give you the choice of whether you wanted to find rightful leadership or to let them take over the town, they tended to object to that and attacked us. Therefore, unfortunately, they ended up deceased.
And why didn't you tell me this from the get-go? And he looks over towards Nix and he says,
"You got enough on your plate. We didn't want to worry you."
I step forward and I say, because I'm a Centrum, they were also Centrum, and I put can't come on the name.
Are you talking about Kella, or are you talking about Zulkin Alessander?
Yeah. I started to attack the Centrum, and being a Centrum myself, so I didn't want it to come out.
So you betrayed your own organization, my friend?
I look at
Yep.
Rigby and kind of loud whisper, wasn't he supposed to keep that a secret, Rigby?
Is at this point even Draven is like,
Yes, he betrayed his own organization to save your town. He's a true hero.
He's like, here, Crust.
Well, I know something about the Zentrum. Is it even possible to betray them? Aren't they devised of so many factions within factions, groups struggling for power?
Aren't they all betrayers anyway?
They simply struggled for power, and you struggled back. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
but
that.
when I attacked, I was
Traitor,
called
huh?
a traitor immediately, and they all started to attacking me. After they almost dealt already with the whole party.
So you have like the whole town gathering around you, listening and going,
Clearly brigand.
That's my trusty great axe. Did the hard job.
okay, so to the not drunk members of our party, Gabi and Rigby, it's more like a step over to the side and like, so much for the keeping that on the down low, right?
oohs, ahs.
Yeah, I
So-
think that's out the window.
Morak,
I pat Krusk on the shoulder. To make a long story short, folks, Krusk saves this damn town. You should be thanking him, not making all these queries to him.
well, because a couple of the townsfolk of Nightstone, it gets really quiet. I mean, it gets so quiet to where you could literally hear that pin drop.
Where are the guards at, Dave? They fought with us. Why
And
aren't they speaking up for us right now?
All of a sudden, you hear 3 cheers for the hero of Nightstone! Hip hip hooray! And everybody starts lifting mugs. Hooray!
Leans over to Drave and says, well, when we were in the mushroom caves, on the plus side, Gaia talked to me.
Morak actually. Morak looks towards you, Mr. New Guy, Frant, and he says, "I hope that you can keep this story to yourself. He has obviously saved our town from peril." And then he goes, "That goes for every member here in that lives here in Nightstone. What
I have no
has happened
allegiance to
here
the
shall
Zephyros.
stay amongst
that's
us. No one shall speak a word of any of this to any traveler or anyone else here in Nightstone. Do I make myself clear?" And you can hear people saying, "Oh, yes, yes."
And the reason why they all were bundled together in there was because I wanted to make it the story that the orcs attacked those guys. The orcs and the goblins were attacking those guys, and it just ended up with a big mess.
Well,
I'm sure now the whole town will back up that line, bro. Fear not.
I love Lord, I love him.
You guys are all in on it on you as I tip my mug towards these fucking thousands of town folks around.
Morak just shakes his head and he says, "Hopefully, my friends, your secrets will be safe with us." And he says, "Weary traveler, sign the registry, find it somewhere in that mess. Take any room you want, and
Very
then
well.
join us
Thank
for some dinner."
We're gonna come back. It's gonna be the town's gonna be renamed Cruskville. It's gonna be like a song called "Man Named Crusk."
Yeah, I got you. I feel you.
Everybody's picking up Krusk and kind of like carrying him around the town, you know what I mean? Carrying around the tables and stuff, and they're all chanting. Of course, everybody's been drinking, and everybody's just
carrying me around.
yeah, they're chanting Krusk and whatnot. Krusk the Slayer, the Zentrum Slayer, as it echoes throughout all of the lands now.
Oh my god.
He's finally getting his moment to shine.
So as things start to calm down after a little bit of time, Morak comes over to where all of you are, and I don't know. I'm not sure what you're doing, France. So I'll let you have. What are you?
No,
taking?
I'll hang out with the party, and I'm interested in these folks, and so I kind of chit chat and kind of fill in the gaps and hear the rest of the story as to what went on here and the goblins and then the orcs and then these bandits and so I'm interested to hear their story, and so I'm hanging out with them, listening and bringing it all in.
Sure. You know, they go through this grand story of how the town was attacked. They take off. You know, they head towards their mushroom caves. They get captured on the way. This party comes and saves them, and then you're where you're at now. So Morak, he says that he has to get word of this to Waterdeep. This has we need to see if the Nandar family has anyone that can be a successor to Nightstone.
Morak, one of the guards that was left here already went for Waterdeep, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and one of the guards confirms that as well to Morak. So he's really relieved of that, and you know, actually tells the guards, good job on getting that information out.
Francis, was that your name, sir?
Yeah, Frantisek.
Frantisek. They call me Nyx. I am a nice demon lord, by the way, but pay that no mind. I heard you were looking for accommodation.
So
as you can
as
see,
I-
I'm a demon lord.
My bedroll has ample room for both of us, my friends. Fear not, you will not be cold this evening.
I'm not sure. And so as he hears this introduction, he kind of gives Nyx the eye and is a little wary, grabs his shield, and then kind of relaxes and realizes he's probably not actually a demon lord.
You can hear one of the.
Totally under control.
Nyx, I appreciate the offer. I do. I've been on the road for several days,
It
and
gets cold. It gets cold. A warm bedroll is an asset.
I have a blanket, and I'll find a spot that
Very
and
good.
do
I
well.
expect
Thank
no
you,
less from
Thank
one
you.
as majestic in the distance.
Well, that's very kind, Nyx. Very kind.
I kind of
And
spilled
I'll
half
take
my
a
beer
few
and walk away.
steps back at this point.
You hear one of the villagers cheer, Nyx is gonna get some tonight, here! And you hear a bunch of go, here!
He's looking pretty good about 6 L's. That's all I got.
Morak, he just he just shakes his head. He just doesn't know what to say.
I will not turn
There should be
into
plenty
a
of room.
kitty cat
Friend,
just so this one will be able to cuddle something at night.
Were you shape changing into a pony and giving rides up?
So earlier, the other Tony's that
Something
we brought.
soft and furry, Gabby, please.
Not tonight.
As the night wears in, I'm kind of getting on the stumble. Let's make Nightstone great again. Come on, who's with me? Goddamn. We're gonna build this wall around here 10 feet higher.
Oh God, easy. Too soon. So,
And with
Morak.
that, someone escort Nyx to bed. We're going to take Nyx and put him in his room. It's time for you to go to bed, Nyx.
You escort him.
oh yeah, please, yeah.
Just
That-
don't even ask, and just go over there and scoop
They're
him up,
cutting
put
you
him on my
off.
shoulder, and take him to his room.
Yeah, they're cutting Nyx off.
By the way, I've
the
still
bed.
got
Oh,
profuse bleeding coming out of me. That's why. As I'm saying all this, blood is literally running down my face. So, yeah, I need to go to bed.
Next, shove him in the inn and put him
You're
on my
so
back.
strong, Crust. You just scoop me right
Just
up.
lay down and rest. You're drunk, you idiot.
Thank you, Crust. You're a friend, a true friend.
oh my God! So now that the moon is high in the sky, the party starts to come down a little bit more.
We got like a dusk setting today. We
Yeah.
went from dusk to this is epic.
Well, we've gone from dusk to dark now. Yeah, this is Fantasy Grounds, dude. Fantasy Grounds don't fuck around. You should know this
They
by
ain't playing
now.
around. They ain't playing around, babe.
Fantasy Grounds don't mess around, man.
And once the moon is high, Gabi is going to pray to Gaia.
All right. So you start to go in your trance-like state, praying to your deity. Now, there are some other festivities. There's some soft music. A few of the villagers have kind of come together and started playing some soft music, and the kids have kind of sort of sitting around the fire. They're eating all kinds of candies and crackers with marshmallows and whatnot. A couple of the other elders of the village, I don't want to say elders, but a couple of the other, older folks, they start to tell a couple stories, and stories of tales of the people that have not made it. And it's just sort of like a real sombering moment. People start to make preparations to go to bed, and they're trying to cover up the holes in their roofs and whatnot. So what are you guys doing as everything starts to wind down in Nightstone for the night?
Well, I am going to partake almost as much as Nyx, but I have a stronger constitution. But I am feeling quite tipsy, and as the night starts to wind down, I will realize that I too should go and call it a night and finally get some rest and allow the healing touch of Tyr to rejuvenate me so I can be fresh in the morning.
Okay. What about Krusk?
I'm in some kind of drinking competition with some of the locals.
Oh yeah, you have a long and hard fought drinking battle with a couple of the other villagers of Nightstone, and all three of you guys basically pass out about the same time.
Yeah, but I'm just laying there with my head on the table, like.
Rigby, what say you?
I'm gonna help the drunks up to their room after they pass out or get close to passing out.
All right.
And then I'll crash myself.
And Nyx has been taken out. What about Gabi? You're just still praying, right?
He tucked me in.
All right. And what about Frant? What say you? What about these creepy people you
I
just
helped
met?
out. Yeah, they're interesting a lot. So I helped out some of the villagers, and we got some logs together and made a little quick funeral pyre, and stacked up the bodies, and I just sat there casting firebolts at it and turned all the 7 snakes to ash.
Ooh, yeah. Nice.
And after that was done, I again mingled with the villagers for a little bit and lent out. I helped a few people patch holes in the roofs and get them ready for bed, and then I found a spot away from Nyx in the inn, and crashed out on my bedroll.
All right. So Morak thanks you for taking care of that, and you can also, Morak also reminds several people that do not speak of this. This stays in Nightstone, and he asks you as well, Frant, to please do not take this on your travels.
No, of course not. Of course not. I have no love for the Zentarum, and their internal squabbles mean nothing to me. And certainly Crust has done a great service to this town, and I will respect his wishes to keep this episode within the walls of Nightstone.
Keep it under wraps. I like it. All right, so everybody gets turned in. I'm going to give you guys a long rest on the combat tracker, which is another awesome feature in Fantasy Grounds, besides the night and dusk settings that it has. So everybody gets a long rest. Everybody gets their spell slots back, features back. You get half your hit dice heals back, and it will be morning when we come back from break, and you start to hear, banging. You start to hear, and I'm not talking. You start to hear hammers beating nails into wood. You start to hear the crows, the roosters and the chickens start to cluck and roost in the morning. You can hear several dogs start to bark. You can just start to hear a lot of work that is actually starting to happen this next morning in Nightstone. And everybody that had been drinking, like Nyx, like Krusk, especially Krusk, Also, for you, Draven, you guys start to wake up with your head just... It's like the sounds of orc drums banging in your head. Yeah, it's the next morning. You guys are starting to hear all of the town come to life. Yeah, the town is coming to life.
Get up right there and thank Tyr for another day. We ready to go down and get some breakfast and adventure.
Stop talking so damn loud,
That
Draven, and
noise.
It's a beautiful day, Nix and Crust. Tyr smiles upon us. Come, let us get some breakfast.
Hey,
Adventure.
don't shout, man. Oh my god.
What is this? You guys are still in bed? You've already missed the best part of the day. You've missed the dawn. The light is upon us.
1 second. Just who the fuck are you?
Frantisek.
Gabby comes in
Am I
with-
supposed to recognize that name?
Hi.
Who is this guy? I've never seen this fellow before in my life.
Nix, we
you-
met last
You
night.
made good friends.
I'm
You
a
made good friends with him last night,
Lysander.
Nix. You were
Last
all
night.
you were all over him, hanging on him and laughing and talking
If
like you were
say
best
so.
friends.
You say so, Draven. Well met, stranger.
Yes,
I have brought
Nix,
food for
good to
everyone.
meet you.
A respectable
I
customer.
still remember
Food, yes.
I am just like I have a headache.
I remember
here.
a parade with
Hello
us.
there.
Didn't we have a parade or something? All the villagers were there. And you were there. And you were there.
Something like that. But you've missed the dawn, gentlemen. You've missed the dawn.
Wow, who
You
cares?
really shouldn't sleep in so late.
We're busy adults with lots of important things to do, my strange friend.
Hey, Krusk, I think you got a green bean or something stuck on your tusk there.
So,
What?
Moraki comes up to everybody and hopes you all rested well, and he says, wow, a couple of you guys look pretty rough this morning. He says, here, take this and let me know how you feel in an hour. And it's a small little vial. He says this will make you liven up quite quickly. He hands some to Nix and Krusk and Draven.
What does it taste like?
It's a very dour type of sour at first, you know, and it has a very pungent smell, but almost immediately it seems like your headache is starting to go away.
These fucking hammers sound a lot less loud now.
Yeah.
Me too.
It doesn't sound like the anvil is actually literally right beside your ear, yeah.
I
It's
tend
not
to.
anymore if I fell asleep next to the blacksmith's anvil.
Right.
Like that was what it sounded
Yeah.
for me before.
Yeah, I turned to Mark and was like, I hope you don't mind, but I took a jar of your saffron and cloves. I do love those spices, so.
Hey,
I believe I heard something about breakfast. Let's deal
It's
with
in
that
front of
first.
your face.
Oh,
There.
is that what this plate is? Okay. I dig in.
Yeah, I started eating too.
breakfast is served.
Right. My wounds have closed up upon themselves overnight. I kind of wiped the dried blood off of my chin. All is well with the world.
Mark asks, so how did everyone sleep last night? I hope the beds were still comfy at least.
I slept like a rock. I don't even remember it.
They're very comfortable. Like, you have my thanks.
I don't even remember how I got into bed, so
Well, there were
You fell
these...
asleep on the table. You probably got like forks and shit sticking to the side of your face.
No, Rigby was dragging you upstairs with your head hitting, going thump, thump, thump on the stairs all the way up.
Nice.
That's why I say it hurts so much.
oh,
So he says we're starting to we're going to start rebuilding. I've also sent out another messenger to Baldur's Gate as well. There are several relatives of the lady that also live in Baldur's Gate, so I've sent out another messenger. Now, as for, I've got a request that possibly all of you could help me out with here. The first off is, once again, everybody thanks you for doing what you've done. I've also, and this is everybody else has already ate and whatnot. This is just for you guys and Morak sitting at the table. And Morak has assured you that he has gone around to all of the different villagers and spoke to them about these Zentrum agents that were disposed of. He tells you that he's talked to every single villager, and they all assure him that they will not say anything and they will keep everything within the walls of Nightstone. But you can see, a lot of construction is already underway. You can see logs being brought in through the gate. There's been activity with, going out into the woods, and actually you can actually see several of the elves helping bring wood into Nightstone. And he has a small favor to ask. He has 3 families here that were in Nightstone that have no other family members here. And he needs to get word to these 3 families. He tells you that his neighbor, Samil Southwell, was killed in the giant attack. She has no family here in Nightstone. But Morak knows that I know that she has a brother. I believe his name is Markham. And I believe that Markham is the sheriff of Bryn Shander to the north. And he needs to be notified of Samil's unfortunate death. So if you could possibly travel to Icewind Dale, I know that is far north of here, he would definitely need to be notified of his sister's death. Also, the Zelbrins, they were an elderly couple here in Nightstone that have been here since the start, almost, since the current regime of the Nander family. They didn't have any kin here inside of Nightstone, but they have a son that they spoke very highly of, and he had come here several times on occasion to visit. His name is Miros. He lives in the Golden Fields. It is a very short travel distance from here, and if you could go to the Golden Fields and let Miros know what happened, that would be great. Also the dear friend of mine, Darthag Ogre, he was the owner and proprietor of the Lion Shield Coster Trading Post, LLC, of course. He was a great friend of mine, and his wife, his ex-wife now. They were married for so long, but they were recently divorced, and of course she had a major hand in the business as well. So the good man that Darthag was gave her enough to start her own Lion Shield Coster. And she is in Tribor, which is north of here as well. And if you could possibly ask her, her name, Alestra.
What is his name? I'm sorry, Alestra.
Alestra, Alaestra. Alestra Ulgar. And he says, my friends, I'll give you first choice. Let me give you guys the Sword Coast map as well. I'm going to share it with you.
Never heard of this tribe.
So here it is.
Would
Okay.
any of these families be Relix's family as well? If he has family, I would like him to be with them. If he would. Want to.
Yes. I've seen Relix around. I've seen him dashing around this morning and whatnot.
Maybe
Saw
he
him
belonged
chasing
to
a
the
bunny
Zelbrins.
earlier.
Maybe the Zelbrins were his family.
Yes,
I have no idea.
the Zilbrins, yes, the elderly couple that they loved Relix so much, and in fact, Relix just kind of fell in their laps. The old lady had gotten sick, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but she had got sick and she had to be taken back to Waterdeep for she had been there in rehabilitation for